Mets, Yankees. The trade deadline is upon us.
It's coming soon.
What do you guys think? Like, what should the Mets do? What should the Yankees do to improve their ball club?
All right, so I'm going to talk about the Yankees. I'll dabble in the Mets, given the fact that we actually have different positions, which I was actually shocked about. So right now, what the Yankees need is corner outfielders. Aaron Hicks had a very nice June, given the fact that his April was atrocious. So anything would have been better than that. But he had a great June. But I look at right field and I see Joey Gallo and I see Giancarlo Stanton's inconsistency in being able to play the outfield. And ultimately, we need a right fielder, either a right fielder or a left fielder. I don't know if Aaron Hicks, he's probably capable of playing right field, given the fact that he's a center fielder. He's naturally able to play the outfield, given that fact. So I believe that we should either go out and get a guy like Ian Happ, who has been stellar up until this point for the Chicago Cubs, and Chicago Cubs aren't a great ball club. But Ian Happ's batting .283, 8 home runs, 78 hits total, 38 RBI, 41 walks, ninth in total walks in the National League, a .382 on base percentage and .460 slugging. And if we aren't able to get Ian Happ, I'm more than fine with Andrew Benintendi too. Reason why I'm fine with Benintendi, even though he was a Red Sox, and ultimately that doesn't matter in today's MLB. Exactly, Jacoby Ellsbury, who was an L. But Andrew Benintendi has been great. Contact hitter, at least. .313 batting average, 3 homers, 92 hits, 32 RBI, .381 on-base percentage is what I'm seeing most importantly outside of that .313 average. You put him at that bottom of the lineup, and he can turn the lineup over to DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, who has been excellent coming back this season, given how mediocre he was last. Andrew Benintendi at the bottom of that lineup, giving us a solid glove as well in the outfield, being able to turn the lineup over back to the guys at the top of the order would be tremendous for us. I feel like Gallo being a sub-200 average hitter, I understand that the shift has killed him without a doubt. I think next season, if Joey Gallo is no longer a Yankee, and the shift's banned, I think that we're going to start to see Joey Gallo's swing start to open up and him start to have a higher batting average. But right now, it's not what the Yankees need. Right now, we are the best team statistically, record-wise, in the MLB still, and that's with Joey Gallo batting under 200, like I mentioned. If we go and we can get one of these two guys, specifically Andrew Benintendi, who has been a great contact hitter, and lefty too, who knows if just accidentally he could poke one out, given the fact that short porch out and right could be beneficial to him. I think Benintendi would be a nice pickup for us. Now, for the Mets, I see the rotation, and automatically I have concerns, and I feel like they're justified. Yes, you guys, when healthy, have the best 1-2 punch in baseball. Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, in my opinion, when they're on the field, that's number 1 and number 2 best pitchers in major leagues. But given the fact that we haven't seen deGrom up until this point, and Max Scherzer has gone down with injury, even though he did make his return, was it last night? Yeah, and he pitched great, 5 innings, I think, 11?
11 strikeouts.
That is crazy. Max is that guy when he's on the field for sure, and I'm sure you weren't expecting him to get injured this season, but you need that safety blanket when you have guys like Carlos Carrasco, Taijuan Walker, who's been very good. Yep. Something that cannot be overlooked. Taijuan has been very good.
Taijuan was also great the first half of last season. Fell off the second half.
Very true. Which is why I have my concerns come down the stretch of the season, given the fact that he's been one of your more consistent guys. And Bassett, who's down with injury, McGill, who's down with injuries.
Well, Bassett's going to be fine. He was just on the COVID IL.
So that's facts. I apologize. You're 100% right. But McGill, who was great for you guys, for him to be down and you not know his status, where right now it's looking like mid-August is going to be his return.
60-day IL is...
Yeah, it's never ideal. Never ideal. I feel like you guys could use a starting pitcher. If you have deGrom, if you have Scherzer, you just need that one extra guy. I just don't know if I'm confident with that one extra guy, given the fact that we saw Taijuan struggle last year in the second half of the season. I feel like you just need that one guy to be that safety blanket. I have guys like Luis Castillo, right-handed pitcher from the Cincinnati Reds, 29 years old. And these guys that I'm going to list you all have terrible records because they're on bad teams. So Luis Castillo, 2-4, 3.33 ERA in 8 starts. If you guys don't know, the lower the ERA, the better. That means you're not giving up runs. 3.33 is very good. 46 inning pitch, again, like I mentioned, 8 starts, and a 1.09 whip, which means walks and hits per inning. You're giving up 1.14. That is tremendous.
Which means basically one person on base.
Exactly. And if you can get one of these 3 guys, I feel like it's very safe. But Luis Castillo is the best option available right now, given the fact that you would have him signed to the end of 2023. He still has that fastball that still touches high 90s. Luis Castillo would be the pickup for me. You still have guys like Frankie Montas, right-handed pitcher from the Oakland A's. Again, 29 years old, 3-7 record, which is not ideal, but the Oakland A's are bad.
Terrible.
3.53 ERA, which is more than solid in 81 innings pitched. 1.14 walks and hits per inning. Another very firm pickup. He would probably be my number 2 option for you guys. And then if you guys aren't trying to spend too much and not give up too high of prospects, I don't think you're going to have to give up Francisco Alvarez. No way, no how. He's untouchable. Correct. But a guy like Kyle Freeland, left-handed pitcher from Colorado, you guys could use a left-handed starter. And 29 years old, 3-5 record, 4.46 ERA, which is why I say, you probably won't have to spend top dollar on this guy. But even still, 72 innings pitched, 1.10 walks and hits per inning. Kyle Freeland, if you can get him for relatively cheap, given the fact that you guys would need that safety net starting pitching, I feel like I would go for it if I'm you guys.
The Mets, while they're 20 games over 500, first in the NL East, and they've been really phenomenal all season. We've hit a bit of a rough patch this last week or so.
And the Braves are coming.
Yep, they're 2.5 games back. They're right on our heels. When we were up, 7, 8 games. Yeah. I mean, they went on a ridiculous stretch there. It was a matter of time.
And I think it's the shortest lead that you guys have had in the division since April 30th.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, the Braves got off to a rough start. Then they won a ridiculous amount of games in a row. I don't remember what it was. But we knew the Braves were eventually going to come around, just coming off World Series.
And Acuna also coming back.
Exactly. Playing out of his mind as well. But this team is far from perfect, right? I think when you look at the Mets, I don't look at their starting pitching as a huge need. I think we saw Scherzer back last night. He looked dominant.
When Scherzer's on, he's on.
He was insane. DeGrom just made his first rehab assignment. He was hitting 100 miles an hour.
Talk to him.
5 strikeouts and 6 batters. He was looking fantastic. It's single A ball. I'm expecting this from him. So I'm not writing in DeGrom as he's going to be 100% healthy and going to be good for the rest of the season. I pray to God that's what happens, because if we have him and Scherzer, then this team can actually make it to the World Series. But I think we have some other holes, right? I think in terms of starting pitching, behind DeGrom and Scherzer, you have Chris Bassett, you have Taijuan Walker, and you have David Peterson, who's pitched really. I've shit on David Peterson for years. I feel like
he's been
really well. His ERA's been hovering around 3 all year, and he's a lefty. I think he's our only lefty that I can really think of off the top of my head. Come playoff time, he'll probably move to the bullpen. You usually only go probably 4 starters in the World Series, sometimes only 3 starters.
Exactly.
So having DeGrom and Scherzer, and then whoever's hot at the time, whether it's Taijuan, Bassett, or even Peterson, possibly if we need a lefty starter, I think the rotation is fine. First off, though, the Mets aren't trading any of their top prospects. They've come out and said Alvarez is off. He's actually been ranked the number 2 prospect in all of MLB. Just updated that today. But even guys like Brett Beatty, Ron Marquisio, Ventos, I believe, is another guy. Vientos, who just hit another home run in AAA. They're all off limits, right? They're all top 10 guys in our farm system. So I'm not expecting the Mets to go make a Cespedes-like move like in 2015, where we went out and we really got a guy to make a huge impact on this team. I think what we need right now is depth, especially in the bullpen. I think Edwin Diaz has been phenomenal. He just won NL Reliever of the Year. He's been one of the best closers in the game of the month. Yeah. Drew Smith has been fantastic in spots for us. Seth Lugo has been a bit up and down. Same thing with Adam Ottavino. I just don't know if I trust Drew Smith in the playoffs, the 7th, 8th inning, to get 3 outs. He's been great all season, but I need at least one more person, ideally a lefty, since really only David Peterson's the only person we have available. I would like to get at least one more lefty so we have those lefty-lefty matchups. And baseball, if you're a lefty hitter, it's a lot harder normally to hit a lefty pitcher compared to a righty pitcher, even though there is some guys who have, don't follow that rule exactly. But a few guys I had out here, one was Joe Mantiply. He's a lefty reliever from the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are terrible. They're 15 games out of first. He's having a career year. ERA at 1.13, which is extremely elite. 33 strikeouts and 32 innings pitched. I believe he's like 29 years old. He has another year of team control as well. So I don't think that's someone who would be very expensive to get. A couple other guys are Andrew Chafin on the Tigers. They're 12 games out of first place. Another guy with the sub-2 ERA. Those are really the two. Ideally, they're both lefties as well that I would like to go out and see be acquired by the Mets. And then in terms of batting, I do think we could upgrade at DH. JD Davis has been the man who has been primarily holding down that role. He's been okay. He's batting around 240. But overall, I think we could use an upgrade. I think JD Davis is a fine player. I'd rather him be a bench bat. The guy I want the most is Josh Bell. I think Josh Bell, it'd be a bit...
Division, that'd be tough.
In division is tough, but here's the thing. They're 22 games out of first place. He's a free agent next year. So the Nats have to get something for him, right? And if the Mets do come with the best package, then they're probably going to end up accepting the Mets, even though it is in division. Who knows if the Mets even
then
end up
y'all are going to actually have to go a prospect because Josh Bell isn't a slouch.
He's not, but I do think...
He's mad good.
He is, but it's not... He doesn't have team control. So he's going to be
That's
a free
true.
agent next year. It's
That's
not
true.
like the Nats they're probably not going to resign him. I mean, they're terrible, right?
Yeah.
So odds are they're not going to resign. There's obviously reports of Juan Soto, who's arguably one of the best players in baseball. He's 23 years old, about him leaving too. So the Nats are in a really bad spot right now. I think it is a bit of a stretch just because it is in division. But if we're able to get Josh Bell, who's having a career year, batting over 300 for the first time, putting up ridiculous OPS slugging numbers.
315, 12 home runs, 38 walks, which is among the league leader, at least the National League in walks, 47 RBI, 93 hits. Dude's been crazy.
He's been unreal. He'd been power and contact and being able to get walks, get on base, throw a lineup. I think that's really that would really bring our lineup in together.
Definitely.
And we have, really 1 through 9, really probably 1 through 8 outside of our catcher, unless Alvarez comes up and ends up playing some time for us because
that would be electric.
Yeah, McCann has been great.
He has to be really amazing these next couple months for him to get that September call up, which I don't see as impossible. But given the fact he just got promoted to AAA, I think that it would be he really has to play very well for him to get that September call up, which I don't think is impossible given the fact he's the number 2 prospect in baseball.
Yeah, he has to play really well in AAA, but what he showed us in AA is he could do that and then some, right? He's been unbelievable for us.
What was it, in 162 games, he hit 41 home runs over 130 RBI?
Yeah.
Bro, he is crazy.
He's mad good.
He's one of those guys that, yes, he's a catcher, and you could use a catcher, especially McCann. I'm blanking on if Francisco Alvarez can be a catcher and still put up the hitting production that he has shown in the minor leagues, you'll take it. But it's getting to that point where he's such an elite bat that do you even want to risk him being put at catcher and putting him in a position where he can get injured?
Yeah, of course. And catchers' lifespans are just so much shorter than the rest of the positions.
It's like
a grueling position to play.
Let's look at some savages. Buster Posey, he played for the Giants, retired this past season, is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. We saw it still take a toll on him. Yeah. Joe Mauer was an MVP for the Minnesota Twins. We saw that being a catcher took a toll on him and had to end up playing first base for the last couple of years.
I feel like
career.
Pudge was he played forever. He's Pudge, really the only one that
Pudge, Jorge Posada, they're last of a dying breed, and you got to put respect on Yadier Molina, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But Salvador Perez is another one that we've seen that has the power with the stick, but now come on, bro. Come on. Can we please show some respect?
Sorry.
But even still,
show some respect.
We're seeing that now he's starting to get a little bit banged up, and we're seeing a dip in his numbers too. It's just inevitable when you play the catcher.
Yeah, the Mets, like we said, they're not giving up a ton of prospects, so I'm not expecting anyone crazy. But if we could get a lefty reliever and one more bat that could be DH, give Pete or even play first base, give Pete some time off. Dom Smith has come up from the minors, and he's played pretty well over the last week or so. He's had a few hits here and there. I don't know if he's consistent enough. It's really hard in baseball, especially when you don't get consistent at bats, to really prove yourself, right? If someone goes down to injury or the Mets need to bring somebody up, if you only have 3 or 4 at bats, even if you have a hit or 2, you're probably likely to get sent down to the minors just because it really is hard to get that consistency. I forgot why he got set down in the first place. I think it's when we DFA'd Cano. We had to make space for somebody, but then he went down to AAA. I don't know exactly
you see
how
Cano
it
is eating in the minors right now?
Is he really?
Yeah, he's batting like 3 something.
What minor league team is he on?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. He signed with I forgot who he ended up signing with. It might have been...
Bro, he's actually putting up insane numbers.
He was, yeah,
it's like you're a major league player. You go to the minors, you're going to eat.
After he left with the Mets, whatever team signed him, he wasn't playing well for. I forgot who it was. But it's not surprising.
And you mentioned it really fast about, it takes time to come back and really be a consistent ball player when you're not getting those at-bats. The first thing that comes to mind is Miguel Andujar. The fact that the Yankees have put him in a position where he's been in back and forth from AAA to the major leagues when he's on our roster, he's a consistent hitter for us. It seems as every single time he's back into the big leagues, he's making something happen with the bat in his hands. But I can't. So a report actually came out that he was reporting that he had requested for a trade. I can't blame him. I can't blame him at all, given the fact that when he's in the majors, yes, he is a solid ball player. Most important thing in baseball is that you can hit the ball. If you can hit the ball, there should be a position for you regardless. And he is one of those guys, even in a stacked Yankee roster, a stacked Yankee lineup, that he comes in and he gets consistent hits for us. I cannot blame Miguel Andujar at all for wanting out of the Yankees.
And I just need to shout out the Mets chat and Pigs for putting this list together. We were going back and forth yesterday, like, who do you think would get picked up?
That's
right?
nice.
So
little teamwork makes the dream work.
Make sure I shout y'all out.
Okay. Shout out to the Mets fans. You
guys
guys have had an exciting season. You guys have been put through a couple difficult years, but brighter days are ahead. Brighter days are ahead.
Shout out Uncle Steve, man.